You are listening to Comedy Club for Kids presents Radio Nonsense, Radio Nonsense, Radio Nonsense, Radio Nonsense, Radio Nonsense. Hello and welcome to Radio Nonsense, the official Comedy Club for Kids podcast that's suitable for all ages from 2 and everything in between. I'm Tiernan, and this week, listeners, probably just like you, I've been watching the World Cup. Have you been watching the World Cup? Linda, have you been watching the World Cup, Linda? If you haven't, let me explain, because you might not know what the World Cup is. It's basically where 7,000 people work together to try and build a really, really massive cup. So massive that they can fit the world into it. And then the plan is they kind of hoist the whole world, the whole earth into that cup. And then they crack open the top and they eat it like a boiled egg. No one's managed it in the entire history of the World Cup so far, but every 4 years they keep trying and everyone cheers and there's a referee to make sure no one builds the cup in the wrong way or uses Play-Doh or sellotape or something like that. And oh look, it's on right now.
Here we are at the World Cup Day 6. Argentina have played a blinder, building a quarter of the base of the cup out of what appears to be old football shoes and wheat. On the other side, England have scored with the outline of a handle made entirely of sausage rolls and tea bags. It's looking sturdy. Let's hope it doesn't rain or those tea bags will be toast. Well, not toast, tea, which you should have with toast.
Wow, it's boring, isn't it, listeners? I'm not really sure how people watch this for the whole few weeks it's on. I mean, last week there was 2 hours where Norway and Egypt just argued with each other about whether it should have a nice pattern on the cup or if it should have a slogan like "Keep calm and carry on," which I think is one of the most boring phrases you can find on anything. I don't want to keep calm and carry on. It'd be much more interesting if it said, "Go bananas and don't fall in the bin," or "Go berserk and scare a duck." You know, something like that. It's like the phrase "silence is golden." Well, okay, but silence is boring and gold is kind of boring. And how does the rest of the scale work? Is noisy platinum, titanium, noisy as a bag of crisps? I mean, that would be much better and definitely would mean noisy wins every time. Oh, hang on, I think something's happening in the World Cup again.
Back to World Cup coverage, and the crowd is shocked. As it turns out, England thought they were making a teacup, but the United States had set their sights on a coffee cup, and France was certain it was an egg cup, so that afterwards they could crack open the world and dip an entire baguette into it. The pieces everyone's made just don't match. What an upset. Who is going to make it through to the semi-finals? I am on the edge of my seat.
No, sorry, listeners, it's still very boring, isn't it? Anyway, though, if you have something you want to send in, like, I don't know, better designs for a World Cup, or anything else at all, then please get your nearest fuzzy-wuzzy sweetbread brains, sorry, I mean grown-ups, to help you email me at podcast@comedyclub4kids.co.uk. Or you can leave a nice review on Apple Podcasts or a reply in the Spotify Q&A. And please do check out comedyclubforkids.co.uk for all of our live shows too. Right, I'd better just check it again. You never know, sometimes it gets exciting.
And that's nothing. More nothing has happened. Nothing has happened for now 20 minutes. And the crowd sits waiting, as it's very likely nothing will happen for at least another 20 minutes.
Wow. I'll keep track of the World Cup. And while I do that, you can all listen to this most importantest bit. Listeners, it is very exciting that today on Radio Nonsense, right here, I am joined by Alice Mary Cooper, the world's most famous bathtub herder. Alice, it is so nice to have you on the show today. How are you? How's the bathtub herding?
It's going very well, thank you. Yeah, I'm herding all of the cattle and the lambs. We're all in here in the bath. Yeah.
Oh, I see. Right, you see, now this is another example which happens quite regularly on the show where I don't really understand the jobs people do. And I thought you were rounding up bathtubs, but you are in fact rounding up farmyard animals and putting them in a bath.
I am. Yeah, it's quite a niche job. There aren't many of us around, so it's understandable that you wouldn't understand my role. But yeah, no, basically, I go around the country in my old truck. I collect abandoned farm animals and I bring them home to my bath. My neighbors seem to be fine with it. I do live in an apartment, but they seem to be okay with herds of animals coming up through the. I have quite a small house, so like there's a lot of
Mm-mm.
animals, and just the one bath. But yeah, the animals seem to enjoy it, and then once they've had a nice bath, I then find them a foster home.
Oh, that's really nice. That's really. I have to ask. Is it true? Because is it true? Maybe this isn't true. I thought that cows can't go downstairs. They can go upstairs, but they can't. So, if that's true, how do you get them out when they've had their bath? How do you get them out again?
It's a really good question. I have a very friendly neighbor who also used to be a farmer, and it's very convenient. We both now live in the city. I was never an official farmer, just to be clear. But yeah, he
Mm.
he came. He comes. He pops in, and he gives me a hand with the heifers and the
Right.
cows.
Nice.
So yeah, basically we carry them. We're quite strong actually, both of us, and we managed to carry the cows down the stairs. So you're correct.
That's
Yeah, they can't walk downstairs, so we carry them. Fortunately, I only live on the second floor. I think if I lived any higher, my job would become
mm,
potentially untenable.
that is tricky. You could opt for some sort of like putting a trampoline on the bottom floor, letting the cows jump out the window. Something you could go for, or a parachuting kind of thing.
That's a great idea, actually. I think I might look into that. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you're
Thanks
only
for
on the
the
second floor.
suggestion.
You No, you're welcome. It's more if you move to a fifth floor flat. I
Oh,
realize
I
that
see.
what you've
Yeah.
got now works, doesn't it? I don't want to interfere with a working process.
Well, thank you. No, no. I mean, it works for now, but I think yeah, if my neighbor moved, or if they got an injury, or I got an injury, it would be terrible. So I think, I mean, it would be
Mm,
terrible
mm.
otherwise than just for the cows, getting them down the stairs. But no, I think actually now you think about, I have a little balcony, and maybe, yeah, I've got a friend who's an engineer. Maybe we can sort of MacGyver something and put out
That's
some
nice.
sort of parachute for the cows.
That's nice. Well, yeah, it was lovely. I mean, do you get all the animals in the bathtub at the same time? And I suppose I should ask, if you do the sheep act as a kind of sponge for the cows? Is that how that works?
Um, Once they did, yes. Not
Mm,
all
mm.
the time, because sometimes the cows and the sheep don't always get on. And to be
Oh,
honest, I'm talking a kind of regular sized bath time and bathtub and a regular sized cow. So,
right, okay.
just the logistics of that, the sizes.
Mm,
I don't know if
mm,
you've seen a
mm.
sheep, or you've seen a sheep and cow, obviously, in the real life.
Yeah, I've definitely seen them in a book and possibly in a film. I don't know
Yeah.
if I've seen. It's hard to say if I've seen one in a real life. It might have been an odd horse. It could have been a large furry dog. I'm not. I couldn't. I didn't have anyone there at the time to clarify. It was definitely a cow and a sheep.
Okay. Well, let me just tell you that they are quite big. So yeah, at the
Okay, okay.
moment
Mm,
we have managed once to have a calf, so like a baby cow, and a lamb in the bathtub
mm,
together, and they
mm.
seem to enjoy each other's company. And yeah, I think the lamb definitely kind of, provided a bit of a sponge, to
That's
get
nice.
off some of the
I,
mud on the cow, which is
I,
nice.
I mean,
And,
I
and
think
the
what you're
cow
doing
gave
is,
a big
yeah.
lick to the lamb, which was very
Right.
very sweet. Yeah.
That's lovely. I mean, I think what you're doing is fantastic. Not only because you're rehoming animals that are lost. I think that's a lovely thing, and you're finding them a nice place to go. But also, and I hope your friend who's a farmer doesn't mind me saying this. But sometimes, when I have been on a farm, but I don't know whether I saw a cow or a sheep on there, but I have been on a farm, and sometimes you sort of go, "Wow, this is a whiffy place. It
Mm.
really smells of things." Often bad things, and I think if I was to walk on and go, "Wow, this smells like bubble bath,"
Mm.
I would definitely go to more farms.
Mm. Yeah, I think you're right, actually. I think I would go to more farms as well. I think that's partly why I pick up abandoned animals. They're not actually at the farms, because, this way I can avoid the not entirely pleasant all the time smells of a farm. So I can
Mm,
just get
mm.
get the lone animal, bring them home, bath them, send them out into the world, and, Bob's your uncle. Happy cow, happy life.
That's
I
really
think that's what
nice.
they say.
Yeah, Bob's your uncle, happy cow, happy life. It's a long phrase, but I think you're right. I think I agree with it. Even I don't have an uncle called Bob, but I know that Bob is my uncle, which is a strange
Oh,
thing, isn't it?
that is a strange thing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
my uncle's called Ray, but I've never. But I know when people say Bob's your uncle, I always go, yeah, he is,
yeah,
and I'm
yeah.
And do,
yeah. I mean, I would be the same. I've got an Uncle Kevin, an
mm,
Uncle John. I don't have an Uncle Bob, but he is also my uncle. So I'm on the same page. I'm with you.
must just be everyone's uncle. I think just there's obviously
Yeah.
a Bob out there who is universally, were you to bump into him, you just know,
Mm,
there he is.
there
He's
he
your
is.
uncle.
Yeah, I think it's
Yeah,
a great name
yeah.
for an uncle, Bob. Yeah. So wherever you are, Bob, this is a shout out to Bob. Keep up the good
Big shout
work
out to
of
Bob.
being a good uncle to everyone. Uncling.
That's nice. That's nice. Yeah, good. Well done, Bob. I'm really, yeah. We need people like that.
We do.
Um, we really do. We really do. What I was going to ask is because your work is mainly cows and sheep. Have you gone into other? Have you ever thought about sort of geckos, wallabies? I don't know. I'm just throwing some animals
Yes.
out there. Is there? Have you tried? Did you start small? Did you start with like spiders and mice? Have you built your way up? What was the path to this incredible job?
It's such a great question. And, I grew up in Australia. So, yes, you're quite right. I mean, I grew up in a city, so there wasn't a lot of either farmyard or wilder animals. We did have possums. Possums were
Oh.
in the roof. You know what a possum is?
Yeah, again, I think I do. Just
Hmm.
describe one to me.
Yeah, they're somewhere between a large kind of cat, but they're not a cat, obviously.
Okay, not a
And
cat.
let's say I mean, this is probably not completely accurate description, but somewhere like maybe if you put a beaver and a cat together, and then they climb up a tree, and they've got a long tail,
Right, right, right,
quite
right. Okay,
furry. They're quite cute. Although I don't think everyone would agree because they often get into the roofs of houses and
I
um,
see.
they are not always wanted, let's just say. But they have very soft fur and they are very cute. And often you see them with, well, not often you see, but if you're lucky, you can see them with their little babies on their backs. Sort
That
of
sounds.
like,
See, that
make,
sounds
yeah,
lovely.
yeah,
Yeah.
they're lovely. So yeah, we grew up with bats and possums and I would love to say we grew up with koalas, but we didn't. Um,
Mm.
I have seen a koala. Unfortunately, most of them I saw by the roadside, not in a great state.
Oh
But
no.
but but yes, I did start actually on a road trip. We were going from Sydney to Melbourne, which is about a 12-hour drive, 10-hour drive if you're going faster. Um, and yes, I did see an abandoned possum by the road, and I convinced my parents at the ripe age of 8 to bring it with us. And it didn't smell great, I'll be honest. And
Mm,
so the
mm,
first
mm.
thing we did when we got to my grandparents' house was we washed it. Quite
Nice.
lucky because they can be quite vicious. They've got quite long, scratchy fingernails. I don't think you call them fingernails, but you know what I mean. Claws.
Yeah.
Claws.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. It's they are claws and fingernails, but for animals, and it's just they call them one thing. We call. I don't actually know if possums call them fingernails or claws. They might call them something in possum language.
Yeah, they probably have their own
Yeah.
own
Yeah.
language. So yeah, really, it
Yeah.
started with the possum, and then once it was washed and bathed and dried, it's very important to dry the animal as well. You don't
Of
want them
course. Of
catching a
course.
cold. We released it back into its wild habitat, and it seemed to well, as far as I know, I didn't receive any complaints or letters of thank you, but that's fine. I think every
Yeah.
animal
Yeah.
has their own way of communicating and thanking. And I like to think it's gone on to live a very happy life back in the bush.
That's nice. And I also, you're right. I think very hard to use a phone with claws, to type on a keyboard with claws. Very hard to hold a pen. So I think I'm sure they're very grateful, and I think that's a lovely origin story. The couple of questions I suppose I had is that one, you said people don't like possums in their attic, but if they're lovely and furry, isn't that like people talk about roof insulation? Isn't that like natural roof insulation? If you've got a roof full of possums, doesn't it keep your house
Yeah,
nice and toasty?
that's an excellent thought. I don't think that avenue
Right.
has
Right.
has 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 been utilized. But
Mm, mm.
I'll send a note back to my friends and family in Australia and
Thank you.
let them
Yes, thank
know
you.
that instead of having pest control coming around to get rid of the possums, maybe they could get pest control to come and encourage the possums and therefore have a lovely insulation. I think I'll be honest and say I think that maybe the issue is because possums are live, um,
Oh, sure,
yeah,
sure, yeah,
they will
yes,
move.
yes. Yes,
And
you're right. So then it's not great. You want insulation to stay still.
mostly, I'd say
Yeah, yeah,
mostly.
okay. Do you know I have these ideas, and then
Mm.
when people really think about them, often they're terrible. But it's the initial
Yeah, yeah,
thought
no,
there
no.
of
I
like
mean, absolutely. I think it's generally a great idea. I think just, we could workshop it a bit more, and
yes,
yeah.
I'm up
So
for that. I'm up for
I
that.
think it's
Possum in your attic.
possible.
Yeah,
But yeah, I think the movability of a possum might be a bit less good for the insulation of a
yeah.
house.
So you need to
But
train them to be like statues,
really, really still,
really still.
just
Yeah,
just lie
okay.
down, ideally on their backs, like covering as much floor space as possible.
Yes, yes, really spreading out.
Um,
Yeah, yeah.
and take it in turns. Maybe one of them could go and get some food, come back, give it to the others, and then, lie down again. It's quite a
That's
sedentary life.
nice.
I'm not, I think we'd have to speak to the possum community and ask them if they're up for this. That feels like quite a lot of work, even though it's just lying down. Like that's still quite a lot
Yeah.
of like sitting still. And I don't know about you, but I'm not a big fan of sitting still.
No, I wonder if we have to go rather than possums, which does ruin the point because obviously I was trying to find a way for possums and people to get on, but I was maybe we need to swap them with sloths or slow loris,
Yes.
you know,
Yeah. I think you're
creatures that are
right.
happy to just lie there.
Lie around. I think you really could be onto something here. I mean,
Mm.
yeah, like I say, we should definitely have a strategy day.
Yes,
But we should.
yes,
I think it's very important to include the sloth community. We need to
yes,
see
I
how they
agree.
feel
Yeah,
about it as well. I don't think we should just be dishing out jobs for other species.
yes,
I think we should ask them how they feel. But we do need in this world, in this climate crisis, we need to be thinking of innovative solutions. And I do think
mm,
there
mm.
is potentially a way for the humans and the sloths and the possums to come together to, mutually benefit each other, keep the houses warm, and also hopefully for the sloth, they have a sense of purpose.
Yes,
And
yes, yeah.
maybe they already have a sense of purpose to sleep, but more purpose.
Yeah, more purpose for for possums, and that's my campaign slogan. And I think there's something there. I think well, thank you, Alice, for well, actually, no, I've got one more question to ask you, which
Yeah.
I just need to clarify because I hope some of our listeners aren't worried. But you talked about koalas were not in a good state on the side of the road. Can I check? Were they hitchhiking? Is that what it was?
Yes, it was. Yeah, 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 yeah. No, they were
Are they
just
just a bit dusty and dirty from
yeah,
spending hours on hitchhiking on the side of the road?
exactly. Yeah, yeah. I mean, they just I mean, unfortunately our car was full, so we couldn't pick them up.
Of course, yeah,
But
yeah.
hopefully they got a ride quite soon. But yeah,
Yeah, because you talk
exactly.
about eco-friendly ways. I mean, car share with a
Mm,
koala. That's my other slogan: car share with a koala. So, and I think that
great.
you know, that's a really nice way to what's the word? Combine carbon footprint. They've only got little feet, so I don't know what they're. As if carbon footprint's a problem for koalas, but
No, but like, not to go too dark, but yeah, habitat loss is probably more their problem.
sure, yes,
Um,
yes,
uh, but
yes,
but but yes, for us, I think yeah, we could definitely car share. I mean, sharing in general is a very good thing. I mean, I remember there was a slogan in Brazil, when they were having a drought or a water crisis, water shortages, and it said, I think the thing was xixi al baño,
oh, I like
which
that.
means pee pee in the shower,
Right.
because it meant that you weren't using the water to flush down the toilet.
That's
Like, because
wow.
that uses clean water. You're using, like, I think it's about 7 liters of water to flush a toilet. And so,
Mm.
it's already going down the drain. And as long as you have a good wash after you've shishied.
Yeah, yeah,
Well,
that's
again,
lovely.
Bob's
Do
your
you?
uncle.
I was going to say, do you encourage the cows and the sheep to have a wee in the bath? Probably just because it's easier than using a toilet for them anyway, isn't it? I think.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I mean, I encourage number twos. outside.
Sure, yes, that makes sense. That makes off the balcony. That makes a lot of sense. Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely,
But I'm a
absolutely.
responsible cow sheep owner, so I would always pick it up and then deliver it to friends who have a farm locally and they use it as manure. So
That's
again,
nice.
circular economy, sharing economy. That's what it's all about.
So eco-friendly. I'm so impressed. Well, thank you, Alice. Thank you for having time to come on the show today with this incredible expertise. I do have a question that I really,
Mm,
really need your help with. But
okay.
before we get there, I'm not sure if you're aware, but I have two questions that the Radio Nonsense legal team insist that I ask every single guest. Two admin questions.
Of
Do you
course.
feel all right about admin? Are you okay with admin?
Yeah, I'm not great at admin, but I can do it. Yeah, go for it.
Okay, that's good. Okay, well, the first one is very simply that I think you're probably aware that this show is suitable for people of all ages, every possible age you can imagine.
Mm,
7 for 107,
mm.
ice ages, middle ages, all the sort of different ages they
Yeah.
tune in. And so I just have to check if there are any rude words you won't be saying, so that we can keep this show safe for everyone.
That I won't be saying that I haven't already said.
Oh, have you already said some?
Well, I have just spoken quite a lot of words.
You have, yeah. I didn't pick up any. Hang on, possum's not a rude word, is it?
Possum's not a rude word. I don't think
Okay,
Bob. I don't think Uncle. Uh,
it
she,
feels like you're
she,
saying
she,
she,
maybe in
she.
some, wee. It's a wee wee. A she is a wee wee.
She is a wee wee, but it's a nice way of saying wee wee. If anything, it's worse to say wee wee than she.
It is. So I think, I don't know, does that feel safe enough to say she?
I think it's. I feel she's safer than saying, like, if you were to say Bob aggressively, I think that would be more
Mm,
Bob. That'd be really. I'd
Bob's
feel.
your uncle. Yeah,
Yeah, see,
that
that's a
doesn't
lot,
sound
right?
nice. Yeah,
It doesn't sound nice.
no.
But you didn't. I mean, you didn't say it like that, so I think we're safe. We're safe so far. But were you to say it like that, I'd have to probably edit this show down.
Yeah, censor me.
Censor you just because I think it would be aggressive to people listening, but it would also be aggressive to Bob, who would hope that
Absolutely.
people see him as a good uncle,
Yeah,
not that it's some sort of threat or
no.
insult.
And he's a great uncle. He's everyone's uncle. And
Mm.
yeah, yeah, all praise to Bob.
Praise to Bob,
Praise
absolutely.
to Bob.
Yeah. So I was going to say there's no others then. There's nothing you've got.
Um, I, a word like, well, I mean, I was thinking about maybe just now. That's the time I've been thinking about it. I think the word yes, that's
Wow.
potentially difficult, or no. I mean, it's all contextual. So I don't know if
I
you said yes or
agree.
no.
Should I mean yes or no? Both of them could be very problematic. Would so we really shouldn't say either for the rest of the show.
Absolutely.
Look, I support this. I don't think we should say yes or no, and I will try my best not to say yes or no.
Okay,
But they do sneak in
they do.
sneaky words, right?
They do. Yes. Oh
Oh
no!
no, right, yeah. So you see, and
Have
I
you
just
seen
said so. No, right,
that?
okay, but
Okay, we can confirm things or not confirm them,
deny, yes, or not to confirm,
or
yes.
yes.
Uh,
Oh no!
no,
Oh
what if I say nay? Is that too farmyard? Will I get upset? The animals that
no!
listen to this.
Nay is fun.
Nay, I and nay
We
is
could do what they do here where I live in Scotland, where you say I, which
yes.
means
No, yeah,
ah, which means what you
I.
just said.
Mm-hmm,
It's a
mm-hmm,
sort of
mm-hmm.
encouraging word, and it means you're you're agreeing, confirming, going with something. So you
Good, good.
say,
Okay,
I meet you at the shops.
I
Hmm.
like that. I like that a lot. Okay, well, I'm now going to be really thinking my sentences, like very carefully about all of my sentences from now on.
I'm so
But I
sorry.
thank you for not saying those words. That would be awful if they were said on this show,
Awful,
and we'd get all sorts of complaints. So thank you for
of course.
avoiding those words. Whoa, that was it's going to be tricky. Let's see how we go. The next question, luckily, is not a aye or nay question, so it is one that requires a bit more thought.
Mm.
So, Alice, would you rather you could only eat or drink anything if it's been made into a smoothie, or if it's been made into a sandwich?
Oh, would you be able to repeat the question, please?
So you can only eat. So one option is, would you rather you could only eat or drink anything if it's been blended into a smoothie? So I'm talking like every single meal. You could only have it if it was in smoothie form, or you could only have it if it was made into a sandwich. Which again, ice cream sandwiches are great. There's a number of foods that would work, but then you've got to think like, would you want all your foods in sandwich form? Soup sandwich.
Okay. It's a
That
great
could be nice.
question. One I've not considered before, but I would definitely go with the sandwich option. Yeah. I didn't say that I'm confirming that I would go with the sandwich option. I'm a big fan of bread. I realize that it might get a lot, a lot of bread in my life if everything was a sandwich. Do you think we could mix it up? Like, do you think I could have, gluten-free bread, rye bread, rice bread if that exists?
Yeah, because the sandwiches are like there's lots of types of sandwiches, aren't there? There's ice cream sandwiches, for example, and
Yeah.
I think that's like what wafer with ice cream in the middle. I think as long as you put stuff in between two other things, it's technically a sandwich.
Okay. Yeah, let's go. I'm going to lock in sandwich.
I think it's a really smart. I was thinking about this question because actually it's not as tricky as some of the other ones we asked on the show. And that I was trying to think what foods wouldn't be good in a sandwich. I mean, maybe a pie because it's already a pie. If you put it then between two other pies or two other bits of bread, it's quite hard work, but it's not horrible.
No, I mean, I think most things go well with bread or between other things. So I can't really think of anything right now. I mean, I think some things would be a bit kind of cloggy, like if you had to eat a rice sandwich,
Yes.
that would be quite
Oh, I mean, yeah.
intense, an intense experience. But a stir fry vegetable sandwich, roast dinner sandwich, I definitely can get on board with these things. Yeah.
And the thing is, now I've asked you this question because often, as I said, these questions are meant to be sort of slightly tricksy. But now I've asked it, I'm starting to think that maybe the best option is that we put all food in a sandwich. This is really it's making a lot of meals. I mean, don't get me wrong, I like a lot of food, but it's making a lot of meals sound even better.
Yes. Oh no. Oh God. Indeed. You're quite correct.
Confirmed. Agreed. Yes.
Yeah. I think.
Yeah.
I think you are correct.
Good. This is so tricky. I was going to talk more about every time I talk about more about this, I then remember the words I'm not allowed to say, and then I halt immediately.
Yeah.
Because they're so tricky. I should say we didn't cover whether or not we can say yep.
Ooh, is that variation? Is that
do you know what? It's probably just as awful, isn't it?
I think it's definitely banned.
Okay, fine, fair enough. In which case, I would just say that I think you made a very wise. There's a lot of food I wouldn't want to eat blended up. I think because that would be horrid.
Exactly.
But I think placed within two slices of bread or any two anything, two slices of cheese. There's a lot of. I'm starting to think you've got a very easy question here.
Well,
but,
I think you have given me quite an easy question. I mean, but the other real reason that I wouldn't want to make a smoothie is, and this is a bit of a strange confession, but I really do not enjoy blending. I don't have a blender. I don't use a mixer. If I'm going to make a cake, it's all using my hand. Not someone else's hand, just a random hand. I use my hand. And
you've got a strange, mysterious ghost hand that pops in and mixes things for you.
Exactly. I mean, I would be more likely to use a strange, mysterious pop-in hand than a blender. There is just something about blending. I'm very happy for other people to blend. I drink blended products, not often, but on occasion when the occasion arises. But I just do not blend, and I don't have a blender. And I'm not going to say that I will never have a blender because, never say never. But at this point in my life, and I'm getting on a bit now, I don't think I will buy a blender. So that would be a barrier to blending everything. Would be that I'd have to buy a blender, and I just don't.
And then you'd hate every second of it. I mean, they make an awful noise. I would also say, I'm going to say something very controversial now that will no doubt lead to billions and billions of complaints from people across the universe.
Sure.
But I think if you're blending food, that is lazy, right? Just stop. Right, just eat your meal with in chunks and in bit. Why you got to drink it, right?
Yeah,
What's wrong with you, lazy? It's
quite
like
right.
soup, right? Soup is just
Mm.
like, oh, I've got a straw and I can drink my meal. Lazy, chew it, right?
I think unless you have to, I'm not a fan of a blended meal. Like there are times that call for a blended meal. There are diets that call for it. There are various things that call for a blended meal. But I think unless you, in my experience, you have to, then I'm all
Yeah.
for solids. I'm a solid kind of gal.
I agree. I think unless you are trapped in a situation where the only way someone can get food to you is via a series of straws and pipes, where the food has to be squished down and forced through until you can escape. I don't know what situation this is, but I'm just
It's an
imagining.
unusual situation, but
It is unusual. But if you were in that situation, then blended food, fine, okay? Because
yeah,
that's the only way through. But
yeah.
otherwise, you should, yeah, use your teeth.
Exactly. I mean, I think, many of us have been in a hospital and have had to drink, eat things through straws and,
True, true. Okay, yeah,
so
I take it back.
there are
That's, yeah.
definitely occasions where it is absolutely called for. And I hope that those meals are nutritious and enjoyable at those times. But as a preference, it's not my preference.
I mean, the choice that you've made would be that were you in that situation, which I hope you wouldn't be,
Mm,
they would have to force a sandwich through a tube.
gosh. I didn't realize the scope of your question, but yes, I
I
suppose.
just, I still think you made an incredible choice, but I just, we have to take this into account that if you could only eat things when they've been made into a sandwich, they would either have to make a lot of very, 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 very small sandwiches
Mm,
and send them one by one into a sort of feed tube, or they'd have to squish a sandwich into it, which I don't then know if that counts as blended. Look, it's complicated. I
it
suppose
is
there's
really
always,
complicated, and I think there's
yeah,
so much to explore in this topic.
there
Yeah, like
is.
I think with the sandwich, the tiny sandwiches, it'd be like little, like little petit fours, like the
That's
little
nice.
chocolates, and you have, yeah, maybe if you made sandwiches as small as little chocolates. I mean, the tube would still have to be quite big, but I
Yeah,
think we
there's
should.
ways. There's ways.
There's
They'll
ways.
manage it.
I don't think we should dwell too much because it's quite a grim thought.
I think that's fair. That's fair, and I think you made a very sensible choice. I think I would opt for the same. So thank you very much for dealing with our legally binding admin questions.
Absolutely.
And
No,
this is the question.
I said a banned word there, but it is not a problem. Mm,
Thank you.
mm,
Um, Alice, we've got this question. We had this question that was sent in, and I'm going to say this question is sent in from. I read it all. They say from that one, Luna, and then they say my rat with an emoji of a rat. Now, I'm not sure if that means this is from Luna the rat. I'm
mm,
not sure if this is from Luna, who has then sent us a emoji to represent that a rat is there with her and supports this question
mm.
fully, or if it's from that one, and then the rat is called Luna. I'm not sure. So I'm not sure whether this is from a person or a rat or a combination of the two.
Okay, but
But
it's
we might need
somehow
to
come to
consider
us.
that it's somehow come to us, and we might just need to consider that this is asked. This could be asked from the perspective of a rat or from a person. That's all. I would just ask that we remember that as I
Okay.
read the question. Now the question is this is a very important, very thought through question. What is ha ha that hair and that hair hard hair and it went on forever?
Oh, yeah, it's a very good question. It's not one I've had before. Have you had this sort of question before?
No, I can't say I have. It's a very unique question, but when I read it out aloud, I think, why hasn't anyone asked this before?
Quite right, yeah. Do you think it would help by trying to break it down if we begin with ha ha ha
It's
first?
well, the first bit would be, what is ha ha that hair?
What is ha ha that hair? Hmm. Well, should we begin from the perspective of we think this is written by a rat?
Yes, that's a good idea, actually. Yeah.
Because I think if you're
I
thinking,
mean, I.
I think if we're thinking from the perspective of a rat, which I don't have any experience of being a rat, so I am sort of imagining here. I don't know, have you had experience of being a rat?
Uh I think once or twice, but
Okay.
I didn't really. I have to say, I didn't. I just sort of was like, hey, I'm a rat. I didn't think about it much more than running around eating a bit of cheese,
Yeah.
scaring people at night. I didn't. I don't think I really went into the hair ha ha. I,
Okay.
I wasn't a rat long enough. It
Uh-huh.
was a curse by which didn't last long. I apologise. I'm just,
It's okay.
yeah,
You don't have to
yeah.
apologize.
Thank you, thank you.
Uh, so I'm just thinking from the perspective of a rat, I would imagine what is haha that hair and that hair hard hair, and it went on forever. I mean, if I was a small rat, I mean, they're not that small, but like compared to a human, even
Mm,
a smaller, a child human, I would be looking up at a human and looking at their, and maybe this is a bit too boring an answer. But if you were a rat looking at a child's hair, head of hair on their head, I think that would be a strange thing to see on the top of a head because
mm.
a rat, it's not like it's got like a little haircut. Its whole body is covered in fur. I mean, so is ours in a sense, like we've got hair all over our
Sure,
body.
sure.
But I think if you were a rat, you'd be maybe wondering, haha, what is all that hair doing on the top of their head? Why isn't it like in an even coating on their body? And is it a nest? I think that would be my go-to if I
Mm.
was a rat. I would be wondering, are they keeping a nest on top of their head just in case they might meet an animal that needs a home? And they want to put the animal in their hair, or that animal just decides on its own accord to go into its head onto its head and live there.
That's fascinating because I think what you're saying makes complete sense because ha ha that hair and it went on forever. We're like, what's going on with all that hair on their head? Why has it
Mm.
gone forever? But their hair, hard hair, maybe they're referring to our teeth, our skin, the
Mm.
bits they don't really understand. So they think it's hair, hard hair, and that goes on forever as well because we're covered in that. I mean, that we must be absolutely baffling to rats and, of course, sheep and cows and all the. They must be looking at us going, "What's
Exactly.
wrong?
Exactly. I
Where's all
think
your hair?"
exactly. Just sort of like these pockets of hair on our bodies, as opposed to just like a full covering, a full proper pelt. And
Mm, mm.
some of us have more of a pelt over our whole bodies than others. Some of us
Yeah,
have.
I,
Mm,
yeah, I've got a beard, and so I've face wise,
uh-huh.
I might be less baffling to a rat than yourself, for example.
Yes. Oh no, oh gosh. I might, yeah, absolutely. You're quite
I'm going to have to
correct.
up the rating of this. I think this week's episode is only suitable for people aged 47 and over,
Oh my goodness.
unfortunately. But it happens. It happens.
But yeah, but
Um,
indeed, I think you would be less baffling to a rat than me. And I mean that as a compliment.
oh,
I
I'm going
don't
to put it on my CV. Yeah, I'm 100% going to. And next time, if I ever have a job interview again in my life, I will say, I just want you to know that I am less baffling to a rat than Alice here.
than me. Because
Mm.
obviously we would both be up for that particular job
If
where
you weren't there, I'd take a little cardboard cutout of your face just to prove
great. Thank you.
the point. Yeah, no, I'd make sure. I'd also put that cardboard cutout of your face up for the job as well. I wouldn't want you to miss out.
That's very kind. Thank you so much.
Yeah,
For whatever this job
I
is, I'm very grateful.
it could be an awful job. That's true, but I would make sure it was at least at least had a nice lunch break.
Okay. Well, that's all we need. I would like a lunch break with, well, it would have to have sandwiches
Of course, of course,
and I need some sunlight. That is I mean, that's
that's
quite a
fair.
big request
You
in
can go
this.
outside and have a sandwich. I'll make sure that cardboard you gets to leave at lunch and have a sandwich.
Perfect.
I just this has all worked out lovely, Alice. Thank you so much for your time and your expertise, and it's been a real pleasure having you on the show. I do have to ask, you've got so many interesting things with your bathtub
Mhm.
herding. What have you got coming up in the next 200, 300 years? Anything much?
Thank you so much. Good. Yeah, I do continue. I want to continue the herding. I
Hmm,
might try
hmm.
and move into a place with maybe two baths. We'll see. So I can
Oh,
get more
that's
animals.
exciting.
More animals.
Yes.
Although that said, I don't want to leave my lovely farmer neighbour behind, so maybe they would also have to move with me. So that's a chat I need to have with my neighbour. But we've got time, another 200 years.
Good. Yes.
And
yes, it'll be fine.
in the closer time, in the sort of interim period, I do a lovely piece where I work with young people and I interview them. And the show or the experience is called Experts Radio Lab. And basically, I get the great honor of speaking with young people about their particular passion or expertise, and it's a joy. And so I get to do that in museums and galleries and festivals, and I'm doing it at a book festival very soon. And then I'm also doing a show called The Bean Counter, which is about a jelly bean counting competition official who is officiating a jelly bean counting competition with the audience.
That sounds
Obviously a
amazing.
very serious event, and only
Very
serious
serious.
serious competitors only at that particular event.
So let me very quickly ask, Experts Radio Lab is going to be at the Paisley Book Festival, is that correct?
Correct.
Cool. I will stick all details and links in the podcast blurb. And Bean Counter, I have to ask, and forgive me if this is not the case, but do you get jelly beans? Do jelly beans are they part of the show?
There are
Does the
many,
audience?
many,
Yeah.
many,
Okay, I'm just saying, it
many.
sounds brilliant already. Now it sounds extra brilliant.
I have an
Cool.
absurd amount of jelly beans in my house for the bean counter, who
That's
has
fantastic.
bought them in bulk.
Wow,
So,
fantastic.
yeah.
Well, best of luck with those shows. Best of luck with the place with 2 bathtubs.
Thank you so much.
And thank you again for coming on the show.
It's been a total pleasure. Thank you, and good luck with your job search, looking more like a rat than me.
Thanks so much to Alice Mary Cooper for having time to answer that one, or Luna's question, that one, or Luna, who knows, about hair in between all of her bathtub herding. Luna, or that one, I hope you liked your answer, but if not, please send any complaints you have on some hair, and I'll make sure they go by a hairdresser's on the way here, get trimmed off, and I'll never have to read them. Do check out Alice's shows Expert Radio Lab and Bean Counter when they're on near you. Sadly, since we recorded this, the Paisley Book Festival was on back in May, but I will post a link to Alice's website and you can find out when there will be new shows near you and where. And do also keep an eye out for her as a pak choy in an advert for HelloFresh sometime soon. If you've got a question you need to have answered, then please get your nearest fuzzy wuzzy sweetbread brains, I'm so sorry, I mean grown-ups, to help you email me at podcast@comedyclub4kids.co.uk. Or you can leave a nice review on Apple Podcasts, a reply on Spotify Q&A, or, I don't know, just doodle on a wall somewhere or on the cat. And please do check out comedyclubforkids.co.uk so you can find out when we're doing a live comedy show near you. Oh, and listeners, you'll not believe this, but check out what has been happening in the World Cup while you were listening to that.
I don't believe it. Portugal and Spain are now putting the finishing touches to the edges of the cup, with Switzerland and Colombia putting the final touches to the red and white spotted pattern on the front. And oh, what's this? Yes, England come in with what looks like a giant teaspoon. All they have to do now is get the entire world into the cup, but can they do it?
Wow, this is exciting. This is probably the most exciting the World Cup's ever been. Actually, I'm quite glad I stayed up to watch this. They never actually managed to get the world in the cup. Just to warn you, it can be quite disappointing. There can be quite a letdown. But I have to say, this is the furthest I think they've ever got. So you never know. Oh, hang on. Oh, what's going on? This is astonishing! All the countries have worked together and they are levering the entire world into the cup right now. This might be it. Home is coming to the World Cup and everyone else's homes too. What?
Now all they have to do is get the teaspoon lined up and ready to crack off the top. France have their 700-foot-long baguette at the ready.
Well, this is amazing, but where they're lining it up, that's exactly where Radio Nonsense HQ is. No, don't crack the world. No, bye.
Go!
You have been listening to Comedy Club for Kids Presents. Radio Nonsense. nonsense, radio nonsense, radio nonsense, radio nonsense, radio nonsense. It's the end.